Hi, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's practice is all about criticism, how you dole it out, and how you receive it when it's directed at you. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to begin today's practice coming into a stand more or less in the middle of the mat. It's a good place to be. Just begin to root through your feet once you've found a comfortable stand and bring your hands together in prayer in front of your heart. Close your eyes, take your focus inward and just begin to find yourself on the mat. Starting to still that busy mind. Maybe focusing on your breath and using the pattern of your breath to find that internal connection. Gently flutter open your eyes, interlace your hands and invert them, stretching up as tall as you can for the sky. On an exhale, bring your hands back down into active prayer, pressing into those palms. We're going to play with that pattern. Inverting to stretch and reach on the inhale. Exhaling to press and come down. You're going to end with your hands reaching for the sky. You're going to take another big breath in, and on an exhale, you're going to dip off the center line to the right, and you're going to pause here for a few breaths, breathing as deeply as you can into the left side of your rib cage. Center align and bring your hands down in active prayer. Take a big breath in and look up towards the sky, opening up your throat and your third eye. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest and release the neck of your neck. Keep playing with that pattern. Inhale to look up and exhale to look down. End chin to chest. Pause here for a moment. And then release your neckline to neutral. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, fold forward into table, starting to stretch the back of your legs and the line of your spine. Give me a nice long straight line through the back. Then see if you can extend your prayer hands overhead, almost framing your head with your arms. Bring your hands back to prayer and stand up nice and tall. Let's do that twice more. Folding forward to find the table line. And then looking for that extension through the arms. Keeping your belly button gently drawn in throughout. Then let's give ourselves one more tabletop line. Keep your hands in prayer and take a small step back with your left leg, setting up a pyramid frame between the two legs. Extending through both legs, actively drawing up along the quads, and then add that extension through the arms and hold steady. Bring your hands back to prayer in front of your heart. Step up your back leg and then look down towards your feet. Heel toe them in. And then peel out your toes and find your way into a Pilates V. Find a tiptoe position on the mat, and then bend your knees and think haunch butterfly, stopping halfway or peeling all the way down low onto the haunches, allowing your knees to track wide. Then morph your prayer hands into an open lotus bloom by pressing into your pinkies and your thumbs and opening up the other fingers like a bloom opening up. Center yourself and try to hold your butterfly haunch for a few soft inhales and exhales. Keep your eye trained on a point in front of you. Close your lotus bloom and find your way back to a tall stand, opening up your legs into parallel and begin to play. Reaching your hands overhead, interlacing to stretch through the trunk and exhaling to come back down in active prayer. Using that stretch dynamically to identify your tight spots and begin to work into them. We're going to end with our hands overhead. On an exhale, you're going to dip off the center line to the left, and you're going to pause here, breathing and expanding into the right side of your ribs. Center line and come down in prayer. Take a big breath in, look up towards the sky, opening up your throat and your third eye. Exhale to nod chin to chest. End chin to chest. Pause here for a moment. Then bring your chin line into neutral. Big breath in. On an exhale, find a table fold. Add that reach and that stretch through your prayer arms. Then retrace your path back to mountain Tadasana. Give yourself at least 3 oscillations between mountain and your tabletop fold. Then give yourself one last table fold to set up your pyramid line. Find the table and then step the right leg back. Looking for that long stretch through both legs, and then when you're ready, extend your arms and try to frame your head. Recenter your hands, step up the back leg and float up. Look down towards your feet, heels together, toes wide. Find your way onto the tips of your toes, bringing your heels off the mat, and then add a butterfly as you find your way down into a controlled haunch hold. Opening up your hands into Lotus Mudra once you're centered. Just create a pocket of quiet control on the mat. From here, we're going to find our way into a kneeling thunderbolt seat. Place your hands on the floor And then step your legs back. You could do knees together, feet together, or you could open up the knees a little bit wider. You could even open up the feet and tuck a pillow or a block through to support your thunderbolt. Start by just settling into the seat and maybe warming up the tops of your thighs with a gentle rub. Maybe coming to stillness and starting to arch slightly through the back. You could begin to play with a little cat-cow here. Inhaling to arch the back and open up through your throat. Exhaling to round out the back and nod your chin to your chest. Limbering up the spine just a bit. Maybe pausing in your cat. Then easing your way to a neutral spine position and seeing if you can come into a little bit of a heart opening pose here. Maybe reaching back with one hand to tap fingers to floor behind you. You could modify with a block or two if you need it. And then just settle in here, looking for a hollow back and a slight rounding to your belly and your chest. Opening up and peeking up towards the sky. Sitting back, bum to heel. Opening up your heart center, your anahata chakra. Then begin to peek over the right shoulder. Peel your left hand off the mat, reach it for the sky. Stay here in this slight rotation to the trunk, or peel your bum off your heels and bump your hips forward, stretching into the hip flexors and the tops of your thighs. Reground both hands to the mat behind you. Open up through your heart center. We're going to do the same to the second side. Taking a peek over your shoulder, bringing the right hand off the floor, finding that slight rotation, and then maybe adding a bump of your hips forward. We're going to ease our way from here into a down dog stretch. So when you're ready, find your way back to your original seat, hands resting on your thighs. Then place your hands on the floor, step your legs back and set up your down dog stretch. Maybe today, let's come into a tiptoe position and then drop down on the heels dynamically, lifting and lowering and just waking up the back chain of the legs while keeping the bum piped up nice and high and the navel softly drawn in. End in the frame, hold it. Try to anchor through your heels. Stretch from your hips to the heels of your feet. Stretch the entire line of your spine. Stretch from your shoulders to the heels of your hands. Then plank it. And dip through the plank line and find an up dog. Control through the shoulders of the core. Down dog it again, and as you find the down dog, kick up the right leg behind you, bracing into your heel. Stay here or find an arching dog by softening your reaching right toe, bending the knee, crossing over the midline to open your right knee and arch slightly through the spine, looking for that hanging scorpion tail of a foot. Stay here or find your way into a three-legged table by pivoting on your grounding foot, thinking belly to sky, setting up your table and then just bringing your free right arm overhead. Find your way back into a down dog and then kick it up into a three-legged dog and do a step-up lunge. We're going to set up a warrior one, angling the back foot in. We're either going to reach for the wall in front or think steeple arms overhead. Settle into your warrior. Look for strength, look for power. Then straighten up the lead leg. Begin to pivot to the open side of the body. You could open up the back foot to 90 if you like, and set up an open triangle, finding purchase on the inseam of your lead leg. Trying to run a broomstick from the top hand to the bottom hand. Settle in and hold. Then think about how you can find your way into a goddess frame from here. Start to peel open the back leg. As you peel up, readjust your lead leg and tuck both hands behind your head, falling the weight of your hands, or of your head into your hands. Then plie line, slightly modified, so toes are pointing to the corners of your mat and your knees are pressing out. Tuck your tailbone underneath the carriage of your trunk. Then straighten up your legs, open up your arms into T and square up through your feet, coming into a little star stretch, Tarasana. Reaching through your crown, reaching through your fingertips, stretching through the line of your legs. Take a big breath in. And then focus on your lead leg, the leg at the top end of your mat, right leg. Let's begin to rotate through it. Bend the knee and drop down onto that thigh, bringing your back arm as close to your ear as you can, setting up a side angle. Stay here or drop your lead arm to the floor and hold. Transform yourself into a warrior two. And then start to heel toe in the back leg. Finding your way to the top end of the mat, relaxing the arms at your side and setting up a tree line on the right. Bending your right knee, placing the sole of the foot on the inseam of the left leg. You could play low to the mat, or you could bring that leg all the way up to the inseam of your stabilizing leg. Finding your way into true pose, Virksasana, hands in prayer in front of your heart. Center yourself. And then if your tree feels good and solid, maybe grow your prayer hands overhead, thinking steeple frame. Perhaps sweeping the arms open like the branches of a tree, opening up and holding once you've bloomed. Retrace your hands back to your original prayer position in front of your heart. Step the legs into a narrow or a parallel line. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, sit back into chair. Utkatasana. Taking your stance as narrow or as wide as you need it. Then fold forward, hands to floor or hands to thighs. Holding the fold once you've found it. Experimenting with the weight placement in your feet if you need it to find your maximum stretch. Find your way back into your kneeling seat, thunderbolt from here. Stepping back the legs one at a time and settling in. Hands on the tops of your thighs for some gentle cat-cow play. You know where you're going to find a working rhythm of your own, syncing your movement and your breath. Cutting out outside distractions and focusing on what's happening on the mat. End in that cat-like stretch with a hollow belly and your abs contracted. Then release gently to neutral and walk your hands to the mat behind you, opening up beautifully through your chest center, your heart center, and just pausing here, breathing into the front of your ribs, opening up your chest. Then look over the left shoulder, bring your right arm off the mat, opening up into a slight rotation, and then maybe bringing your bum off your heels and thrusting your belly and your hips softly forward. Hold that stretch, breathing into the right side of your rib cage. Find your way back down, hands on the mat behind you, opening up generously through your chest. And then repeat the stretch on the second side. Find your way back down to the mat. Hands just resting on the tops of your thighs for a moment before transitioning into a down dog when you're ready. Toe and heel for a bit. Then settle into the stretch, almost feeding your nose through and trying to reach the tip of your nose for your knees. Then plank it. Then dip your hips with care and find your up dog. Back to your down dog. Pick up the left leg behind you. Start with a brace into the heel. And then begin to transition. Set up your tiptoe position on the right. Soften the left toes as you bend the knee. And then open up the knee and drop the foot to the right, peeking over your right shoulder as you find your arching dog. Stay or pivot on the back foot, anchoring your floating leg and finding your little three-legged table, Kamatrasana. Back to your down dog when you're ready. Set up a three-legged dog and use it to find a swing through warrior one step, angling the back foot in, either reaching arms in front or thinking steeple overhead prayer. Start to open up the back foot, start to straighten up the lead leg, begin to pivot towards the open side of your body, and then start to dip down, setting up your open triangle. Hold once you've found your line, and just breathe, opening up beautifully through your arms and your chest center, keeping that rotation to the right through the pelvis. Think about how you're going to transition from this triangle line into a modified goddess. Maybe peel back up, start to angle in the back foot, readjust your front leg, tuck both hands behind your head, make a little basket, fall the weight of your head back, and think of resettling your legs into a wide plie-like squat. Then square up your feet, straighten up your legs, and open up your arms into a T-frame, palm down, finding Torasana star. Then take the leg closest to the front end of the mat, pivot on it, point your toes towards the top end of the mat as you bend the knee, setting up a side angle and relaxing your lead arm to that thigh, bringing the back arm nice and close to your ear. Staying here or dropping and framing from the inside your lead leg. Open up into a strong warrior two. Look for strength, look for power. Then start to heel toe that back foot in, dropping the arms alongside the body as you find your way to the top end of the mat. To set up a tree line on the left. It could be small, it could be halfway up the leg, or all the way to the inseam. Settle in, find your focal point, bring your hands to prayer. Center. Grow your tree arms if you like. Retrace your hands back and center them in front of your heart. Step the legs into parallel, or you could keep them narrow as you take a seat into chair, Utkatasana. Fold forward when you need to, settling in and holding for a few breaths. We're going to find our way from here onto the back via a little haunch line. So maybe disconnecting your heels from the mat as you find the haunch line, And then maybe falling back into a few spinal rolls, holding onto the backs of your thighs, or maybe you're holding onto the knees and the shins. We're going to end on the back in a bridge-like frame. Maybe taking a moment to just lead up into a bridge, disconnecting your back line from the mat, and just holding at the height of your bridge. Maybe arms heavy to the mat, or maybe you'd like to interlace the hands or walk the shoulder blades and the arms in, and then settle into a bound bridge. Hold your bridge steady once you've found it. Close your eyes, take your focus inward. Allow the strength of the bridge to just course through you. Keeping your chin pressed right up against your chest. When you're ready to come out of your bridge, lead your way back down, reconnecting your back line to the mat, and dynamically starting to hug the knees towards the chest and away from the chest. Using an audible HA sound as you hug the knees in towards your chest. Keep holding onto your right knee, but reconnect the left foot to the floor, keeping the weight of your back pressing equally into the mat. Then let go of the knee and hold onto the back of your right thigh, squeezing back down again. Start to aim the sole of your right foot for the ceiling and see if you can walk or creep your way into half a happy baby, maybe holding on to your ankle, your calf, pulling down and then reaching for the undercarriage of your foot and trying to bear down knee to armpit. Trying to keep the weight of your back pressing equally, trying not to roll and lean right. Release into an A-line stretch. Maybe you're holding onto the toes, maybe you're holding onto the calf, maybe you're holding onto the thigh. Regrounding right to play left. Hugging the knee in. Looking for that compression on the right side of your belly. Then letting go of the press and hugging from the back of your thigh. Start to think left foot holding up at the sky. Start to walk your way up the chain of the leg, aiming for the undercarriage of your foot and bearing down. Find an A-line stretch when you're ready. Then release back into your bridge-like setup frame, either keeping your legs in parallel or not knee in your position so that the feet are wider than the knees and the weight of the knees falling into one another. Or you could opt for maybe a supine butterfly, soles of the feet together, knees wide. You're going to find what works for you. You're going to take the heels of your palms and you're going to place them over your eyebrows so that you're cupping your brow with your palm, and then you holding on to the top of your crown with your fingertips, just softly bearing down. Close your eyes, take your focus inward. On a long inhale, you're going to use the heels of your palms to tug your eyebrows gently up. On an exhale, you're going to tug the skin and the eyebrows down towards your cheek line. Begin to play with that movement dynamically. Inhaling to tug, finding a slight smile through your lips. Exhaling to tug down and release the smile. Sync your tug to your breath. Finding that gentle smile and release every time you tug up. When you're ready, you're going to bleed your way from here into corpse pose. Arms long and relaxed at your sides, slightly splayed out, and finding a long splayed out line through the legs. Settle the weight of your body into the mat. Keep your eyes closed and your focus inward. Wriggle your toes and then stretch through the line of your hips, legs, all the way to the toes. Then soften hips to toes so that your legs are totally relaxed. Now pretend that somebody's tugging on the crown of your head and try to stretch the line of your trunk out through your hips. Release to relax totally through the line of your trunk. Now begin to stretch and reach through both arms, shoulders to fingertip. Then release, relax. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, flop your head off center to the right and just pause. Inhale to center, align your neck. Exhale to flop off center to the left. Inhale to bring your chin line back to neutral. Trace your tongue to where it connects at the back of your throat and tell yourself to release that tension spot. Opening up your mouth slightly and giving your tongue room to hang limply in your mouth without tension. Soften your eyeballs. Allow them to roll back weightlessly in your sockets. And then just start to totally soften, relax, and release your whole body. With every successive breath cycle, look to melt and dissolve your body into the mat. Use this relaxed, receptive state to listen and internalize the next few words. The world is often quick to criticize and find fault, yet it is much slower to praise and find the positive. We all experience criticism many times during our lifespan. Those lucky enough to become successful will often experience more criticism than others. Because the one thing that people seem to love more than pointing out another's mistakes is when they can do so to someone who has achieved more than they have. Remember though, that the person who criticizes others is only revealing the lack within themselves. Those who are happy within do not find the need to point out the faults in others. Remember the three following things. If you have nothing positive to say, rather don't say anything at all. 2. Notice the good in others. Praise more than blame. 3. When you are criticized, remember the good in you. Remember your great qualities. Remember why you are worthy and capable of great things. Don't let fear rule you. Don't let criticism and fear rule. Rather, when criticism comes your way, understand that it is the result of your success and not your failure. Absorb those words, internalize them. Maybe they will come to mean something to you within the next few days, weeks, and months. When you're ready to end off your practice for today, rest your hands on your heart and end off today's practice on the words Shanti. Peace within, peace without. Don't let criticism rule your life. Thank you so much for making time to come and play and work. Till next time, keep it light.